Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today is day 26 of my journey to learn Japanese. And this series of live streams is all about documenting my progress at learning Japanese, having started as a complete beginner. My goal for today is to expand my Japanese vocabulary, especially regarding listening comprehension. And yesterday, I was studying on the Lingo Command website, and that's what I'll be continuing on with today. And in particular, in the vocab section, I was learning some basic verbs, right? So these are 25 frequently used Japanese verbs, and I did a quiz on them. And to start the session off to start the session today, I'm gonna just redo the quiz, see how I do. And then if that goes well, I'm gonna study the next list of verbs, just because I think that's a useful foundation to have. So just to kind of explain, we've got this table here, English on the left, Japanese on the right, and we've got these little audio buttons
いる、ある、持つ、
showing us how to pronounce these words. And what we can do is we can go to the quiz section and apply random ordering that scrambles the order in which the questions are asked. And then if we select hiragana and katakana, then because the questions are being asked in English, this now expects our answers in hiragana and katakana. And so if we press handwrite answers, when we press here, we get this Photoshop looking component in which we can write our answer. Now there's one little final setting that I want to adjust, which is display kana stroke order. And I'll explain in a second what that means. But for example, if we now click here, we're gonna have to write the hiragana for to see. And to see is, if I recall correctly, miru. And so this is mi, and this is ru. And do you remember when I toggled that setting for display kana stroke order? It basically means when you see the answer here, you can press to see the stroke order for every single hiragana or katakana character. So just to explain what that was. So yeah, that first one went just fine. To sleep is neru. So this is ne. And then ru, we had that before, it's this one. And to put on is tsukeru. Tsukeru, I believe. So it's gonna be tsu, and then ke, and then ru, like this. Tsukeru. Yeah, that's correct. Fantastic. Then we'll go to the next one. To have is motsu. Motsu. Is that right? Yeah, I believe it is. So mo, the first two strokes, counterintuitively in my opinion, are the horizontal strokes. And then you, wait, is that right? Let's think that through. No, I think actually this stroke comes first and then these two. So that's mo. And then tsu is written like this. But we gotta think this through carefully. I'm gonna say that this is the first stroke, that's the second, and that's the third. Let's take a look. And I was spot on, fortunately. Okay, so to give is ageru. Ageru. This is a. And then we wrote ke earlier. And when you apply dakiten, so that's these two marks, any K sound becomes a G sound. So ke becomes ge. And then we just need to add ru at the end. Let's try and write that more neatly. Ageru. To arrive is kuru. This is ku. That's ru. And to speak or talk is hanasu. So ha is written like this. And then na is that one. And then this is su. Try and draw this a little bit more neatly. Hana su. Great. Another match. And to come is the same as to arrive. It's kuru again. So it's going to be written like this. And to be permanent is aru. Aru. And to believe is shinjiru. Like this. So this is shi. And then we need an N. This is N. And then we need G. So this is shi again. And when you apply dakuten on top, shi becomes j. So this is shinji. And then we just need a ru. Shinjiru. To find is mitsukeru. This U here, it's silent. Just wanted to point that out. Mitsukeru. This one is shiru. Let's try and write that more neatly. Shiru. So this is shi, and this is ru. And the next one is to want. So to want is hoshi. With two eyes. So this is going to be hoshi. So ho is going to be written like that. And then this is shi. And then we just need another eye. And I think it's also important to make sure that this third stroke doesn't go beyond the first. That's a mistake I used to make, but I've resolved since. And so this one, yeah, to be permanent was aru, and to be temporary is iru. Iru. So this is I, and then this is ru. Very simple. To go is iku. So this is I and this is ku. Job done. To do is suru. Suru. Like that. And to call is yobu. So this is yo. We can write that a little bit more neatly though. This is yo. And then here we're gonna have to write fu first, and then when you apply dakuten on top, fu becomes bu. And as a whole, when you apply dakuten, h goes to b. But the series, so in hiragana, most consonants come like in clusters of 5, right? So you have ha. So for example, for R, you have ra, ri, ru, re, and ro. If we zoom out, for ha, it's very similar, or for h, so it's ha, hi, but it's not hu. It's usually written instead as fu, and then it's he, ho. If we pan over here, it's a little bit messy. So in any case, this fu here, if we pan to the right, is what should be written here. So let's write this again. To call in Japanese is yobu. Yobu. And so this is yo. And then we just write fu. And when you apply dakuten on top, fu becomes bu. And that's what you can see here, right? These are those two strokes to make fu become bu. The next one, it sounds actually very similar. So it's yomu, not yobu. So the first hiragana is going to be the same. But this is the hiragana for mu. Yomu. And to be able to is dekiru. So I like to kind of start out by writing my answers in romaji and then writing the hiragana after. So this is te, and when you apply dakuten on top, t goes to d, right? T goes to d, so this te becomes a de, and then we just have, let's undo and get rid of that stuff at the bottom, just so it's a little bit more tidy. This is then ki, and this is how you would write it for the handwritten form. Writing this as one stroke is usually what you see when it's typed. Just wanted to point that out. This is ru. So here you can see, for example, that gap that I was talking about for the handwritten form, whilst here, because it's typed, you can see that it's one continuous stroke. The next one, to make, is tsukuru. So this is tsu, this is ku, and this is ru. Job done. The next one is to eat, taberu. So ta is written like this. And then when you apply dakuten, H goes to B. So first we just need to write he, and then we apply these two dakuten marks on top to get be, and then we just have ru here. But let's undo a little bit and get rid of this stuff at the bottom. There we go. So that's taberu. So if I submit my answer, we can see that that's a match. And the next one is to say or tell. So that's EU. EU. The next one is to O. So this one is a bit of a mouthful. Shi, na, keru. Let's zoom out a little bit. Ba. Shinakereba. So this is shi. And this is na. This is ke. And then re is this one. And then we need ha, which is this. Oh, this is a little bit too zoomed out. Let's zoom in and pan to the right a little bit. So this is ha. And when you apply dakuten on top, H goes to B, so this becomes ba. So let's zoom out and take a quick look at our final answer. Shi na keru ba. Yeah, that looks about right. Shi na keru ba. That's a match. Fantastic. To understand is ri kai suru. So ri is written like this when it's handwritten. When it's typed, you'll sometimes see it you'll see it written like that. Just wanted to give that disclaimer. This is that's ka. That is I. So this is rikai, and then we just need suru. Rikai suru, and this is what I was talking about, right? So here we can see the handwritten form of ri, whilst that's the typed version, but that's another match. And to place is very short, it's just oku. So this is o, and this is ku. Fantastic. So that's our first 25 verbs completed successfully, which is great. But I think I'm kind of on a roll. Like, why not just try and learn another set of 25 verbs? And I think the best way to go about it is to select the first 5 verbs here. Because trying to learn 25 verbs in one go is a little bit overwhelming. But we can kind of break it down. So this is hakobu.
Hakobu.
Hakobu. This is kiru.
Kiru.
This is tatsu.
Tatsu.
Akeru.
Akeru.
And this is ikiru.
Ikiru.
So let's just give that a go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to handwrite my answers, display kana stroke order in that handwriting modal, apply random ordering that scrambles the order in which the questions are asked. And to carry was, no idea. Let's see. It is hakobu. So let's try that again. So to carry as in to transport was hakobu. So this is ha ko. This is fu. With dakuten on top, we get bu. Great. This one, to open, I think it was akeru. So it's a ke ru. It's a match. And to wear clothes, what's that? Kiru. Okay. Let's try that again. So to wear clothes is kiru. So this is ki. That is ru. To open is akeru. Akeru. To carry is into transport. We didn't cover that yet, did we? Or did we? Yeah, actually to carry, I think was hakobu. So let's try that. Ha. Ko. Bu. Great. To live, no idea. Let's take a look. That is ikiru. To live, ikiru. And to leave, what's that? That is tatsu. Okay. So, one more round. So to wear clothes, is that tatsu? This is ta and this is tsu. Let's try and write that tsu more neatly. Kiru. So that's wrong. This one was ikiru. So this is i. This is ki. And that is ru. To carry is hakobu. Ha. Ko. And this is fu, but when you apply dakuten on top, it becomes bu. Hakobu. To leave, as in departure. So is that tatsu? Right? Because this was akeru. Akeru. So is this tatsu? Looks like it. Just wanted to check the stroke order for ta. Yeah, okay, so that horizontal stroke comes first. So which one did I get wrong? To wear is kiru. To wear clothes. Let's give that one more round. So to open is akeru. Akeru. To leave is this is ikiru. I. Ki. Ru. To wear clothes is carry as in to transport is hakobu. So this is ha. This is ko. And this is bu, hakobu. This was tatsu. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then tsu. Tatsu. The question is, what was to wear? I forgot. Kiru. Fine. So I think what we'll do is a final round. And I'm going to try and answer them in order. So to leave is tatsu. Ta. Tsu. To live is ikiru. So this is gonna be hello. Sorry. I just saw your message. So ikiru. This is ki, and then this is ru. Ikiru, great. To open is that akeru? Akeru. Great. And then to wear clothes is kiru, and I'll write a response after this one. So ki, this is ki, and this is ru. Kiru, great. I'm doing both. I'm primarily a software engineer, so I wanted to build a language app and also use it myself to learn the language, if that makes sense. And to carry, as in to transport, oh, this is the last one. What was that again? Let's try and remember. It was akeru is to open. Thank you. I don't remember this one, so let's just take a look. Hakobu. That's a shame. Okay, so we're just gonna redo this one more time. Let's lock in. To leave is tatsu. Tatsu. To live is ikiru. Let's try and write that more neatly. Ikiru. So this is I, this is ki, and this is ru. To wear is kiru. This is ki, and that's ru. This one is hakobu. That's the one that I got wrong earlier. So this is ha. This is ko. Let's try and write that more neatly. There we go. And then for this one, you have to write fu. Let's zoom out a little bit. And then when you apply Dakiten on top, fu becomes bu. So this is hakobu. And then the last one is akeru. So this is a. Let's try and write that a little bit more neatly. A. Ke. Ru. Oh, you don't have to write everything. I am hearing and watching you. That's a good point. Thank you for pointing that out. So I like I've done a little bit of kanji practice, but because I'm a complete beginner, I was like maybe it would be useful to just familiarize myself with the words so that I can build up my listening comprehension. And then as that goes up a little bit, I'll probably like revisit this. So for example, at a click of a button, I can. So currently the words are being shown in hiragana and katakana. Um, if I press here, it's shown as hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And so let's say that I uncheck display kana stroke order, it just shows you in blue. It highlights the kanji. And then if you click on a word, you get the stroke order for the kanji. Um, and so, for example, for numbers, I've done kanji. That might actually be useful to practice now. But at the moment, I want to kind of build up my vocabulary regarding listening comprehension, and then kind of as that gets a bit better, also practice some more kanji. Yeah, that's the plan. So those first five words are going fairly well right now. So I think what I'll do is, so if we uncheck random ordering, these were the first five that we highlighted. So I think the best step now is to just try and learn an additional five. So we have to bring, to write, to think, to look for. We need one more to take. And so if I uncheck this, let's take a moment to so in what order? Sure. Let me kind of explain my study order so far. So I started off just learning like hiragana and katakana. So I kind of learned the 46 basic characters for both scripts, hiragana, yun combinations, dakuten, handakuten, that dash in katakana to extend vowel sounds, those kind of concepts. And then here on Lingo Command, I just have like a bunch of like beginner topics and then also intermediate. And so I've kind of got like a loose structure, but my main priority is to just kind of enjoy it every day. And then as I keep studying, I'll learn more and more. But I thought verbs in particular is, like a kind of foundational part of any language. And so that is basically why I'm covering that today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I was so used to like writing my responses, but responding verbally is probably better. So to bring is mo te kuru, because this tsu is half size. So I think this is sukuon. So like you don't pronounce this tsu. Instead, it's like a beat of silence, and then this te has like some extra emphasis on it. So this should be mo te kuru, mo te kuru,
持ってくる、
mo te kuru,
持ってくる、
mo te kuru. The next one is kaku,
書く、
o mo omou, omou. I
思
heard that
う、
one. I've heard that.
思う、
Sagasu,
探す、
toru,
取る、
toru. Let's just wing it. Let's see what happens. Random ordering. I'm gonna handwrite my answers, and I want to see, just in case if I make mistakes, the kana stroke order. Let's see what you wrote. So you wrote modo te kitayo. Oof, I'm not sure what that means. Modo te. So there is no vocabulary for advanced topics. My main reasoning is like as my Japanese improves, like I've also been making thank you. As my Japanese improves, like I've been making adjustments to the website as I like learn more content, but I've also just kind of looked for like vocab lists and have added stuff regarding that. But I intend to keep adding more and more vocabulary as like my Japanese improves as well. So we were on verbs too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hide unselected words. We were doing hiragana and katakana. Handwrite my answers. Let's apply random ordering. And to leave, I think that one was tatsu. So this is ta. This is tsu. Yeah. To take. Was that? I don't know actually. Let's take a look. Toru. I'm gonna refresh and just, like, I know that I just did it earlier, but with enough repetitions, this will kind of sink in. So this is tatsu. And then this one was toru, is to take. So this is to. And this is ru. To look for, was that sagasu? Something like that. So sa is, it kind of looks like the opposite of chi. You know, like chi kind of looks like this. So it's kind of like a mirror version of that. So let's try and write that more neatly. This is sa. And then we have ka. And when you apply dakuten on top, this becomes ga. And then let's zoom out. This is su. So this is sagasu. Great. To open. Sorry, let me just read y'all's replies. How was your study? I headed off to bed when you were studying the 100 million thing. Yeah, it was going just fine. I'm just kind of continuing on with some more verbs today. You wrote za zu. Let's see what that means. Is that practice? Google Translate. Was to open was akeru. Sorry, I'll come back to y'all's messages in a second. Let's try and write that ru more neatly. Akeru, great. It's slang for thanks. Okay, so is it pronounced? Thank you for the pronunciation. Okay, learn some Japanese slang. Thank you very much, Stephen. To think. What is to think? We just covered it earlier. No idea. Let's take a look. Omou. Okay. So let's try this again from the top. So to leave was tatsu. Tatsu. To take was toru. Toru. To look for was sagas. No. Yeah, it might be, sagasu. So, sa. And this is ka. Let's try and write that more neatly. Saga. And then if we zoom out, put su here. Cool. To open is akeru. The next one is to think, which is 思う. So this is o, and then mo. I always get the stroke order wrong. You actually start here and then you do the dashes, because I'm almost used to doing the horizontal dashes first. Let's try and write that. Yeah, and then we just need the u. 思う. Great. Arigatou gozaimasu. Oh, arigatou gozaimasu. Yeah. I read somewhere that summer exams are generally easier, so here's hoping. Seems like uwasa. What does uwasa mean? To bring. This is the problem with my approach. I just jump straight into the quiz without even studying the content. But by continually making mistakes, you kind of learn quickly. So this is motte kuru. With silent, this is like a sukon. So it's motte kuru. Motte kuru. And I think you put a double T here for that sukon in Romaji. So this is gonna be rumor. Arigato. Shinji taiketo re. Shinji taikedo. Shinji taikedo re. Oof, tricky. I'll need to learn some more Japanese before I can follow along with y'all's conversation. So, here we have this sukon, which is silent, and then I just need te. So, mo te. Let's zoom out, put ku here, and then ru. And this is to bring. Motte kuru. Okay. Motte kuru. To wear. Oh, I remember that one. That was kiru, I believe. To carry was, I think, tatsu. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 strokes for ta, and then tsu here, tatsu. Completely wrong. Ouch. Hakobu. Oh no. Well, there you have it. To live is ikiru. Ikiru. Come on, that's gotta be right? Great. And then the last one is to write, which was like, I swear there was like, I think something with mo. Moru. This is wrong, but I'm just gonna put something and then presumably it's wrong, and then I'll try and get it right the next time. Ka ku. So okay, completely wrong. Fine. So what I'm gonna do now that I'm thinking about it, what if I focus on the ones that I got wrong? So I had this one was fine. To live is fine. To bring was not good. To think I struggled with, or sorry, to write. To think was omou, so that's no problem. To look for is sagasu, also fine. And to take was toru, but let's just keep that. So these are the ones that are a bit trickier for me. So let's go again. So to carry is hakobu. Hakobu. Ha, ko, and then I put fu with dakuten to make it bu. Great. To wear was kiru, I think. kiru. To leave. What's to leave? Tatsu. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tatsu. And then to bring was... Oh, that was the long one. With... There was like the sukuon. There was the te. Motte kuru. I think it was... Let's try and write that in Romaji. Motte. I think it was kuru. Motte kuru. Let's give this a go. So this is mo, then sukuon, then the te. Let's try and write that over here. And then it's ku, and then it's ru. Motte kuru. Motte kuru. Great. Tonikaku ganbatte. Oh, okay. There's good luck in that sentence somewhere. And I think tonikaku means, does it mean like anyways? Tonikaku, Japanese. Reading y'all's like chat actually is good for my Japanese as well. Yeah, anyways, tonikaku. Okay, cool. Kuru means come. It means iku means go. Mix and match. To write is kaku. Bring here is motte kuru. Nice. Yeah, I think to write was kaku, so this is ka and then this is ku, but my ka just, it looks off. I need to write this more neatly. It still doesn't look right. It's my best attempt. So this needs to be perhaps a bit lower. Okay, but anyways, that was the correct word. And to take was toru, I think. Toru. How many words do I have in my word bank right now? So are you asking about like on the website or in my own head? I'm just kind of using my words to respond instead of typing because it's a bit faster, but hopefully you can hear me. Oh, on the site, we can do like a quick check of my code base. I think it's something like 600. Let's see, Visual Studio Code. Instead of like giving you a vague answer, I just wanted to actually check. So I think it's in the word and phrases file. So for every single word, I have this thing called English word, which is part of this like object. So I've got 596 in this file. That includes phrases. So I'm gonna say 600. And my goal as I like, so also I've got like a reading and listening section here with like some conversations. That's not included, but yeah, for now I've got about 600. What's going on here? Oh, so hide unselected words is, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this actually, because this might be a bug. So we were in verbs 2. the first 10 was going just fine. So I guess what we'll do is try and add 5 more. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to hide the unselected words and try and like lock in on these next 5. TypeScript. Oh yeah, TypeScript is the best. Like, if you're writing any JavaScript, I highly recommend TypeScript. It just makes coding so much more like safe, because there's so many potential bugs that you can just like introduce like when you write JavaScript. Yeah, I love Java. Like, I love TypeScript so much. I know I can use my words, but I'm so passionate about TypeScript. I needed to write that. Anyways, back to Japanese. So to walk is aruku, but let's try and do the reading in hiragana and katakana just to stay in shape. So, where were we? This is
歩く、
aruku, hashiru. Actually, I've heard this in anime. They're like hashiru, run away or something.
走る、
Hashiru, okay. To need is iru,
いる、
but that's the same as to be temporary. That was iru as well. I guess based on, yeah, okay. I guess it is what it is. To lose, so to lose like competition or something, is hokeru.
負ける、
Oh, sorry, this is ma. What am I doing? Makeru. And then this is odoru, is to dance.
踊る、
So to walk is aruku. To run is hashiru. To need is iru. Makeru is to lose. And odoru. Different kanji. Okay. Yeah, I've heard that kanji is like, it's one of those things where it's very useful to distinguish between, is it called homonyms? Things with like the same pronunciation, but they got different meanings. Let's actually check that. Define homonym. Each of 2 or more words having the same spelling or pronunciation but different meanings and origins. You know what I might do? I might just lock in on those last 5 and then try and reintroduce the other ones later. So let's give this a go. Native JavaScript is such a mess. Oh yeah, for sure. So we're going to handwrite our answers. We're going to apply random ordering. To walk was... was it akaru? I don't think it was, but let's just write it down, even though I know it's wrong. Aruku. Order is wrong. Okay, fine. This one I remember from anime. Hashiru. So ha is written like this. Do you do much programming yourself, Stephen? Just curious, because I love writing code. Ha. Let's try and write the proportions a bit better. Ha, shi, ru. Okay, fine. This was makeru. So ma ke ru. Cool. To need. So this is the one with the different kanji, but the same pronunciation as to be. So this is going to be e. Let's try and write that more neatly. E. Ru. Yeah, I worked as a full stack software engineer, presumably. Hated every single second of it. Java lol now. JavaScript working in service. Okay, that's... Well, I mean, I guess you hating it is not cool, but it does seem like, you presumably learned quite a lot. I've never written like Java really. Like I think I did a couple of lines like I did a quick tutorial on YouTube once, but yeah, software engineering is like completely different nowadays because I guess there's so many people that use like kind of vibe coding and stuff, which I think is fine, but you gotta actually know what DeepSeek or ChatGPT gives you back, um, and not just dumping code without like understanding it for sure. So, I mean, is that what you're talking about when you say it's so different now, or are you talking about something else? And then to dance, what was that? Odoru. Okay, let's try that again. So to dance was odoru. O. Uh, this is really messy. Let's try and write more neatly. O. Do. Ru. To need is iru. Vibe coding is fine. To be honest, the concept and logic is the most important. I couldn't agree more. Because I feel like, do you know that, like, I think it's an idiom or a saying, they say, like, a good software engineer is a lazy one. You shouldn't try and make things, like, more complicated than they are. So if there is, like, for example, like, reviewing code takes way less time than typing it yourself. So that's at least my take on this. Different as in the framework now is so advanced and easy to use. Okay. Like, out of curiosity, like, what are your goals regarding software engineering? Is it just like a hobby, or do you want to do it for like your career? To lose was makeru. So this is make and then ru. Great. To run was hashiru. So ha is written like this, then this is shi, and then we just need ru, hashiru. And then last one was, I think, is this aruku? Yeah, fantastic. So to walk is aruku. I think what I'll do now, so is try and do the first 15 in one go. So we're gonna uncheck random ordering, add these 10 back in. So now we've got 15 verbs. Go back to the quiz, apply random ordering, and we're gonna try all 15, see what happens. 8 years ago when I was a full stack dev, we were using good old MVC model, and Sprint and Scrum were pretty new and was the buzzword of fintech lol. I'm picking it up again because I'm looking to relocate to Japan, preferably IT job in automotive industry. That's awesome. Obviously, I'm if you're already like coding 8 years ago, you probably have like a lot of work experience. But what I always found useful is like creating a project that you can demo during an interview. Like that's something that I did for like a previous job. Like I just made a project and kind of showed up in the interview to kind of like show what I'd been working on, and it gave me and the interviewer something to talk about. And yeah, I feel like sometimes when you go like beyond like the like if you build something from scratch yourself, um, that you're passionate about, I feel like that's sometimes a great way to pick stuff up. In any case, to open is, what is open? It's not akeru, is it? Let's see. Akeru. Great, that's a match. But I wish you best of luck with, relocating to Japan. So I guess, is that difficult? Like moving to Japan? I'm guessing you'd need like a work visa and get like the job offer like based on that. To take was toru, if I remember correctly. Toru. Yeah, okay, great. To think was that omou? So this is what's going on here. Oh, Golang. I'm super quickly. Well, no, I should be focusing on Japanese, but offline I'm gonna check read up on Golang. I'm not too familiar with it. So for mo, this is the first stroke, and then these two, and then we just need a U here. So this is omou, to think, I believe. Yeah, that's a match. Fantastic. To leave, I think it's tatsu. So this is ta, and then this is tsu. Great. To dance was... Oh no, what was to dance again? To dance. Aruku was to walk. That's not what we want. We want to dance. Odoru. I think that was it. I think it's coming back to me now. So it's like o, to. Wait, let's write this to more neatly. Still not happy with that. Okay, that's do, and then we just need the ru. Odoru, great. Yeah, I think the way the job market is can make a huge difference when you're applying for roles. That can make stuff very difficult. To bring. Was that the thing with like the sukuon and the te, and there was like a mo in there somewhere? Motte kuru. Okay, let's write that properly. So I think it was mo te kuru, to bring. And so this is mo. Wait. And then we need this sukuon, which is like a silent beat, so that when you have this te here, there's like extra emphasis placed on it, which in Romaji is kind of denoted with that double T. So this is mo te kuru. Is that to bring? Mo te kuru. And you can see that this tsu it's half sized, hence it's that sukuon. To walk is aruku. Wait, let's try and write that more neatly. Aruku. Kind of difficult now. Yeah. So that's a. This is ru. And this is ku. Aruku. To lose versus to win. So I think this is makeru. So ma is written like this. Then we need ke. And then we need ru. To need is... This is the one that's just like to be, like, from like how it sounds at least. I ru. Oh, so far so good, you know. If I lock in, maybe I can get all of them. This is kaku. So it's... That was one of my better ka, you know. Pretty happy with that. Kaku. And then to live is ikiru. So this is I. This is ki and then ru. Right? Oh, like regarding my tech stack. Let me just finish like this one word and then I'll talk a little bit about like tech stack. Um, so to wear clothes. What was that? Oh, I can't mess up here. Kiru? I'm gonna go with kiru. Come on, come on. Kiru? So yeah, there's a couple of things that I use from a tech stack point of view. So hosting is done like by Netlify. So that's like the kind of server from which Lingo Command is hosted. And then when it comes to like, so for example, you can log in and have like your own account. So for that, I use like Firebase Auth. And that's also like for the back end stuff. So for example, when you save your quiz results, which is something you can do on Lingo Command, that would be using Firebase. What other like things do I use? There is some more, but to look for, I think it's Sagasu. Sa ga. But yeah, the majority of like backend stuff, that's all gonna be in it's gonna be like using Firebase, Sagasu, and I also like use just like Node.js. So for example, like backend functions are written in Node.js. So to carry, hakobu, hakobu. Did that answer your question? This is ha, ko, and then this is fu, but when you apply Dakuten on top, fu becomes bu, so this is hakobu. Hakobu, great. And then to run is, this one's just ingrained from anime. Ha, shi, ru. Great. So that's 15 words that are going fairly well. Now I could try and introduce 5 more, but that's gonna get, I think I'm gonna break it down in a slightly different manner. So a little bit sneaky, but I'm just gonna, to kind of uncheck those 15, I'm just gonna revisit this page, select words, and then this is 3, 4, 5. So I want these 5. I'm just gonna study those. And then when they are done, I will add 5 more, so I get 10. And then once I have those 10 covered, I'm gonna try and do the 15 and 10 combined, do all 25, which I think would be, you know, pretty. We're looking at verbs 1. That's what we covered yesterday. We want to be looking at verbs 2. So let's try that again. Yeah, no worries, man. Just looking for some ideas on how to get started because there's so many options out there. Yeah, there are. I think actually, from like an employment perspective, lots of people use AWS. I chose like for my project here not to use AWS because the free tier on Firebase is significantly broader. But from an employability perspective, like, you know, AWS seems to be pretty prevalent. And then also like some people, they write like Vue or for like their JavaScript framework, but I think like 80-90% of jobs seem to use React. So I would highly like recommend React personally, but I don't know what the Japanese job market is, regarding front end like development. Furthermore, actually, when it comes to tech stack stuff, I can highly recommend Tailwind when it comes to like CSS stuff. Um, I thought I'd throw that in there. Anyways, when it comes to these 5 verbs, yeah, these are the 5 I want. To buy is 買う、
買う、
ことえ、ことこ答える、no? Yeah, this is た, so it's 答える、
答える、
答える、たず、尋ねる、
尋ねる、
尋ねる is to ask, okay? 閉じる
閉じる、
is to close, and then to work is 働く働く
働く、
Please excuse my cough. Geez, so I'm gonna scramble the order in which the questions are asked and give this a go. So to answer was 答える、答える. It sounds like when it's AE, why is it pronounced tai? It's strange to me. So to answer is,
答える、
this really sounds like it should be an I instead of an E. 答える, 答える. I guess it just is what it is. So to answer is 答える, but this is an E here. And then this is ta. And then we need the E, which kind of looks like a Z. Let's try and write that more neatly. And then we have ru here. Yeah, AWS, I think it's just at larger companies, and like if your scale is very large, I think AWS is better. Whilst if you're like a small to medium sized kind of business or project, Firebase is a little bit easier to work with, perhaps. So maybe that's why, like, because lots of companies, they want to grow and they don't want to switch providers. To work was 働ける? Was it 働く? I remember it was hata. So let's just start there. So this is ha. This is ta. I don't think this is right, but it's the best I've got. Hataraku. Okay, so that's wrong. Great. To buy, I think it was kau. Let's see. This is ka. That's u. Great. To close was no idea. Let's take a look. Tojiru. Tojiru. And to ask was also no idea. Let's see. Tajineru. Tajineru. Okay, so to ask is tajineru. Ta. Then we have shi. When you apply duckten on top, that becomes ji. And then this is ne. And then we have ru here. Tajineru. Tajineru. To close was still forgot, you know. Tojiru. 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 This one was hata Raku. I remember there was a ra at least. So we've got the first three syllables. This is ha. This is ta. And then we have ra. It's just kind of like that. And then ku. Hataraku. Okay, that's great. To answer is kotai. Kotairu. So this is ko. This is ta. And then e kind of looks like a z with a a dash on top. And then we just have ru. Kotairu. Great, another match. To buy is kau. So this is ka. Let's try and do that in one neat stroke. Kau. And then this one, I think it was something like toshiru. No, I think it was tojiru. So let's give that a go. This is to. This is shi. When you apply dakuten on top, it becomes ji. And then this is ru. Tojiru. Okay, great. Still not that confident with this. I'm gonna do one more round. To ask is tojiru, I believe. So this is to. This is shi with dakuten on top. It becomes ji. Then we add ru. Tazuneru. Oh, this is completely wrong. Completely wrong. Tazuneru. Tazuneru. So what was tojiru then? Ah, that's to close. And this one was? Tazuneru. You know what might be good actually? If I swap languages and then just like write my answers in English. Let's give that a go. I could even do that for the first 20. So we're gonna say yeah, so you're asking about like what's the benefits of TypeScript? I think for me, so I've spent thousands of hours working on lingocommand.com, and in the beginning, sure, TypeScript was kind of annoying because you were like investing time to kind of like define everything. But then when you use ESLint, it says like, oh, this object is not of the correct type, or you're missing some property in your object. And so it kind of slows you down in the beginning, but then as you kind of continue working on a larger scale project, it actually speeds you up. And so I think that's the major benefit of TypeScript, is it lets you make things at scale without introducing a bunch of unnecessary bugs, in my opinion. So I'm going to uncheck random ordering, and I'm gonna just select the first 20, right? Select the first 20. I'm gonna hide the unselected words, and then I'm gonna quiz myself on all of this until I'm doing well. So, ikiru is to live. Great. Now I've gone back on my YouTube videos and the typing is sometimes super loud, so I'll try and type quietly. Kau is to buy. Akeru. What was that? Akeru. Don't know. I'm gonna come back to that one. Hashiru is to run. motte kuru. To bring. Kotaeru is to answer. Tojiru, to close. Odoru, is that to dance? Hakobu, is that to carry? So we've got a bug here, right? Because that should be considered correct. So I'm gonna make a quick adjustment to the code base. So if we search for to carry, and I think this is worth it, right? Because this is how you can improve the product. So we're gonna say allowed answers, we're gonna add to carry without, as in transport. And then now that I think about it, we had one more word in this list, which was kind of a similar structure. Where was it? To leave, as in departure. So we're gonna allow to leave here as well. And by the way, this is why I like TypeScript. So for example, if I remove this part, I've kind of defined in TypeScript that every single object in this array should contain a English word property. And so if I forget that, my whole code base kind of gets messed up, but because of TypeScript, it kind of keeps me, you know, having like good code. So feat or fix, ensuring correct allowed answers. Yeah, and so this is just a very quick change that I'm making so that the quiz is improved for, you know, future use. And I've got a prod and merge, or a prod and a development branch. I'll just push that to both. So in 2 minutes, that change should be deployed. And so then if I type in to carry, that would be considered correct. In any case, iru, totally get it. Coming from Python and uni, I despise Java so much, but when it clicks, everything object kind of has a map in your brain and you know straight away what's wrong. I couldn't agree more. I found TypeScript a little annoying in the beginning, and then I saw how useful it is. So iru, I don't know, but tatsu I think is to leave, and it's gonna throw another error with this like brackets here. Right, as in departure. So in 2 minutes when that fix is deployed, that should be resolved. To walk. Tazuneru is to ask. Sagasu? What was sagasu again? All right, laters, man. Gonna go study some more. Ganbatte. Good luck to you as well. Best of luck with your studies. By now, this fix should have been deployed. So I think if I typed in now for, what was it? Hakobu, which was to carry, it now allows it as a correct answer because it's one of the allowed answer options. Motte kuru is to bring. Ikiru is to live. Makeru is to lose. So that's another issue that we gotta fix, because that should be an allowed answer. So we're just gonna control F for that in the code base. To lose, that should be acceptable. Fix, improving, allowed answer options list. So now in 2 minutes, that issue will also be resolved on the website. Git checkout prod, git merge development. Job done. Tatsu is to carry. Oh, that's wrong. It's just straight up to leave. Okay. Kaku is kiru. Is that to wear? That's another one. I'm glad that I'm doing this. There's so many to wear clothes. To be fair though, as in to wear out. So we do need to actually distinguish between these two. So I might leave that one alone. Aruku is to walk. Sagasu, what's that? To look for, okay? Toru is... I'm so used to going from English to Japanese now. Going the other way around is kind of confusing. Tojiru is to close. Kotairu is answer, to answer. Hataraku is to work. Hashiru is to run. Tazuneru is to ask. Omou is to think. Akeru is to to open. And then kau is to buy. Odoru is to dance. And then what's that one? That's to leave. Tatsu. Kau. What is kau? It's to write. I see. Toru. To take. Okay, so for verbs too, I definitely have some more studying to do, but I think, considering that's a list of 25 verbs, I think we made decent progress today. So my plan for tomorrow's live stream or the next live stream is to continue developing my knowledge for this list. But thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna call an end to the live stream here, probably. But if you like the video, if you like the live stream, please like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. That would really help support the channel and also help me to continue working on this website, lingocommand.com, that we're using. But in any case, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.